Sometimes you're looking for ideas for your own game space and you're just fishing for ideas here and there, and you end up using a lot of Gameroom lures. Well, instead of Gameroom lures, today we have Gameroom tours. This is the series where we take in pictures or videos of other people's game collections. We look for cool ideas in those collections for our own collection, as well as looking for awesome things along the way. This is Gameroom tours. Let's take a look. So today's collection comes in from Toaster Dog, and he has an incredible collection with a ton of video games, a ton of collectibles, a lot of advertising in here. It's a very interesting collection, so I definitely wanted to share it with you guys. There's certainly a lot going on in this collection, and in this first shot here you have a wide shot of these shelves here, some glass shelves, and a couple shelves on the left and right of this area. Now, the initial impact of this photo for me was the lighting. I really loved these lights. I loved them enough to reach out to Toaster to see where he got these, and he did end up getting these lights from IKEA. I feel like these lights can be incorporated into a lot more locations, and they're really interesting, and you can adapt them. You can screw them into the tops of Billy bookcases, which is what I did, and I used it to put some light downward onto the items in my bookcase. It has a really nice effect. But getting to the goods of this area, he has a Wii Storage Display on the far left down here. I've talked about these before in a video a long time ago, but these are cool little oddities of the time that were designed for Wii games. They're controllers, those weird controllers that fit nowhere, and the Wiimotes as well. Now, to the right of that, he has this black shelf here, which has a lot of his PS4 games as well as Wii games. So this is just a chock full of video game shelf. Now, moving to the right of that, we get into this crazy zone, which is unlike anything I've seen in anyone's collection. And he has this little Kallax unit shelf down there at the bottom. So he's used this cube style shelf as kind of like a base for his display cabinets to kind of raise them up, get a little bit extra storage onto this wall. It's a very interesting idea. I have never seen anyone do it before, so shout out to Toaster for coming up with an interesting idea. Now, getting into these display cases themselves, these are the cases where people put things in there that they absolutely love. These display cases are for displaying, so whatever you put in there is what is important to you or what you really want to keep safe. Now, the first clear display case on the left here seems to be completely dedicated to Nintendo Switch games. At the top, he's got a couple special editions in there, Undertale, Xenoblade. He's got a cool Super Nintendo controller up there. That's the one for the Nintendo Switch. Underneath that is just a pile of Nintendo Switch games, which is kind of tiered in there. So he's taken something and kind of raised up those Nintendo Switch games in the back. So you get a couple tiers of all these Switch games, and you can see some of those labels. The next display case over, he has a River City Girls display completely set up. And shout out to this because I love River City Girls. I had a great time playing this with my wife. Such a fun game. Can't wait till the sequel comes out so I can get in there and start playing that as well. The rest of this display case has a lot of interesting collectibles and some more games, some Super Nintendo games in there. And finally, the last glass case seems to be mostly Super Nintendo. So you can tell Toaster Dog has been down the Super Nintendo route for some time, possibly their favorite console. Now, outside of just the glass cases, he also has some boxes on top of them. These are your big boxes for your special editions, for your consoles, this kind of thing. Now, to the right of these cases, you have a nice controller diagram. It looks like there's a controller from every sort of type of system that has existed to date, and it's all framed and looks really nice. I love these little pieces of artwork. A lot of people have like tear down pieces of artwork that show the inner workings of some of these retro consoles. I always get caught up by that with the nostalgia. And underneath those pieces of art, there's a white shelf down there that is stacked to the brim with PS2 games and PlayStation 1 games. This is a shelf just dedicated to PlayStation and all these video games that he can grab and play. This next shot is another very wide shot of the area. You can see those glass shelves that we were just looking at on our left-hand side, and you get a big view of this entire area. You can see in the middle of the room, that's where the couch is, right in front of the TV there, as well as a couple other shelves behind that. But one thing I wanted to talk about before we left this picture was this Return of the Jedi shelf. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is here, if they put a sticker on the side of this or if this was a kiosk in some store somewhere. I've noticed that Toaster Dog has a couple kiosks at the very least, so I would think maybe this was a store display for Return of the Jedi. I have no idea. And going from that shot to another shot facing the opposite direction, you get to see the TVs that are existing there and another workspace in the back. There's a lot of things going on in this space. This space is obviously being used for computer and work, as well as gameplay on all sorts of different systems, from retro all the way up to PC gaming. Now, from what I understand from this picture, there are 3 TVs here. He's got 2 HD TVs as well as a CRT television in the middle of those 2. He's using 2 of these 8 cube style shelves down there to hold up his TVs, as well as a lot of the consoles. Now inside, he's also used the glass shelving that you can also get at IKEA as an add-on. You can purchase this separately. They're very cheap. You get a bunch of them for very inexpensive, and you can install them yourself. Now in those TV stands as well, he has a couple inserts from IKEA. There's a couple there that are just these doors that kind of open up. They kind of close off the space, so you can hide some stuff behind those, maybe some extra controllers or wires or stuff you don't want to have out in the space to kind of muddy things up. And he also has a couple of the drawer inserts, which are really good as well. You can take those, insert them into your bookcase, and instantly have a couple of drawers there that you can use for the same thing, hiding a couple things, putting some cords, or I believe in this case Toaster Dog uses them for extra games. Now looking at this TV setup from, say, the couch's perspective, you can see any of these TVs from the couch, either the CRT for your retro video games or the HD TV for your modern games. There's 2 HD TVs, so I would imagine you could do some awesome couch co-op with somebody in these modern games that don't allow split screen. Some other notable things in this shot are these standees and kiosks that you can see in this space. In the corner, there is a Wii U Kiosk, and it looks like it's missing the TV from it, or the screen that was originally in it, but it's filled to the brim with more boxes and more games and just tons of stuff. Those kiosks are really cool, and you can get them really cheap if you get in there right away when they are getting rid of them at the company. They usually just throw them away. A lot of people dumpster dive for them, but you know, laws and stuff. But he also has this World of Warcraft standee. I've noticed throughout Toaster Space there's a lot of advertising and standees and old boxes. These are the kinds of things you can ask for at stores. You know, when I go to Target and I see a box is empty, I'll ask to see if I can take it home and use it as a display piece in my collection. And panning to yet another wide shot, we get another view of those awesome glass cases back there. This perspective gives me the best feeling of what it's like to be in this space. The lighting's out there, all the LEDs are kind of bouncing around. You have that kind of tungsten light bouncing off those clear glass cases back there, which is looking really awesome when it's balanced with the blue. I mean, that yellow and blue light have worked together for ages, and even the people over at Nintendo decided that it was a great color combination for their game. But getting back to this area, you can see he's got his little work gaming space over there in the corner, and it's kind of flows nicely. You come in the door, you can kind of walk behind the couch, plop down on the couch, play some retro or modern games. You can easily get over to your desk. It's a really nice workable area to get around and get to the things that you love. And kind of looking over into the gaming setup here he has with his computer and his monitors, and yet another TV that brings the TV total in this room to 4 televisions that I could see. I'm sure there's another one hiding in here somewhere. But kind of zooming in on this space, he's painted the whole wall back there this kind of nice teal blue, which I think looks fantastic. I think having that blue wall is really cool. It makes it an accent piece for the entire room and definitely draws the eye into that area. Once you're drawn in though, you get to see all the art pieces he has up there. He has a Code Vein poster and a ton of other Mario and Nintendo related posters up there as well. On the desk itself, there is a monitor, a TV, as well as his laptop, and this is as balanced as it gets. You have all the worlds there that you can play your games on. You can be streaming games, you can be doing whatever it is you need to do. But overall, I think it looks like a really comfortable setup to be sitting there. It's not dirty, there's not a bunch of trash everywhere like I've seen in a lot of people's PC setups. It's very clean and definitely serviceable and usable. Now, a few other notable things throughout this collection. He's definitely got a lot of the advertising stuff, the standees, the boxes from the stores that usually they sell things out of. But he also has a really cool Mario TV stand down here. This was designed for the NES and I believe a CRT to be on top, and it has kind of an opening door. Usually you find these out there at flea markets or for sale, and they are just totally torn apart. But the artwork on the front of his is fantastic and looks like it's in immaculate condition. I always have a lot of interest in these display items, these storage items that were actually officially put out there for people to use. And you know, a lot of them aren't around today, especially in such nice condition. And you can see here, he's using some of these advertising boxes, these boxes that used to hold Pokemon cards, and he's using it as a way of storing a lot of his Super Nintendo games and N64 games and kind of stacking them in a way. It's pretty interesting. And in the corner of his space, he also has this giant Pikachu plush that seems to be playing on the arcade and has has a Toys R Us bib on its back. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but I support it. There's also a few other odds and ends throughout the space from Toys R Us, which is kind of cool. I'm guessing Toaster was into Toys R Us when it was still around and probably wishes it was back. So Toaster space is really interesting. There's little odds and ends throughout the entire space, little lighting trinkets here and there, some pixel pals kind of up on things. You can tell that he's playing a lot of modern video games, but also playing a lot of retro video games at the same time. And this is definitely a collection after my own heart because that's what I like to do myself. But I think what I like the most about Toaster's collection is that he takes a lot of effort and puts it into displaying some of those games, making these really cool epic display cabinet setup here that he has on his wall. It's all nicely lit and he has all the things that are important to him in those cases, looking really good. And then throughout the rest of the space, there's display stands, there's kiosks, there's standees, there's a lot of display stuff in here that makes those games look good and gives you that opportunity to get that secondary use out of your video games. Yes, it's important to play them and have a good time, but at the same time, getting that second use while you're not playing the game, getting to see that game and that beautiful artwork is what it's all about. So from my perspective, this is a very interesting collection. I've never seen one with so many of these odd kind of advertising items and so many TVs and lighting items. It's just a very interesting mix of different things that makes it definitely Toaster's collection, and it's unlike anyone else's. So huge thanks to Toaster Dog for sending this in, sharing it with us. I know it's a lot of hard work to take these pictures and kind of make sure everything's set up and kind of get over that hump, but I really appreciate you sending it in. It's an awesome game room. But thanks for coming and checking out the video today. If you were thinking about setting in your game room, there's a link in the description as well as the comment section that goes to a video that explains exactly how you can go about sending those things in. If you did like today's video, leave a like on it. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate every subscription. We're getting up there, we're moving fast. I really appreciate everyone's support, the comments and the likes and all this stuff is awesome. I hope you guys have a fantastic day today and collect what you love. Move it, baby. Move it, body. You're trying to make your game room look better and you're looking for all sorts of ways to do it. You get out there, you're fishing for ideas, and you just end up with game room lures. Well, instead of game room lures, we have game room tours. This is the series where we take in pictures or videos of your game collection. Hello, we're back again with another episode of Game Room Tours. Sometimes you go fishing and you don't know how to catch game rooms and you just need game room lures. I'm so sorry.